Morning, dear students. This is Dr. Madhusudan Reddy. This session for second BTech first sem students. The subject is basic electrical circuits. In this subject, the first unit containing electrical circuits and magnetic circuits. In this video, I will discuss first electrical circuits only, and this is about my details. In this particular electrical circuits, first I start with the circuit concept, types of elements, resistor, about inductor, about capacitor. First we start with what is the basic circuit concept. Generally, everyone should be understood that any electrical circuit consists of source, load, and the source and load should be connected. So we need the connections, nothing but the wires are also called as the conductors. So this is the basic circuit concept. So we remember any circuit should contain basic two elements, source and load. Source in the sense of energy generators or energy givers, and loads are nothing but always energy receivers. So I'll give the example of this as in a practical way. In our home, the parents are sources and the children are the loads. How can we explain? The parents always gives money in terms of the energy to other elements in the sense of other persons stayed in. Children always receives energy in terms of the money, and some children may consume the total energy in terms of the money, or some children may stores the energy in terms of the money in keep tank. So that is about this a general example, and we'll come back to this a technical point of view. I'll take one example. Take the tube light and switch in our room. Tube light is the load, switch is the source, and in between these tube light and source, you know that there should be a wire connection. Whenever you switch on, immediately that switch, the load in terms of the tube light will glow because of principle of current flow from source to load. Meaning that, so every basic circuits are containing the two parameters. We remember source and load are very important. Between these two, source and load, need of connections. Then we'll come back to this general classification of circuits. There are many types of classification of circuits are available, depends on properties of the elements. Those are linear circuit, non-linear circuit, unilateral circuit, bilateral circuit, distributed, concentrated. So many circuits are available, but these classification of circuits will not discuss in this session because we should aware of properties. After completion of the properties, again I will discuss this classification of circuits. And again, come back, generally depends on the source and load, how physically available. There are two types, open loop and closed loop. So what is the meaning of the open loop? The source and load are not connected to each other. Such a type of circuits are called as a open loop circuits. Open loop means that nothing but, so simply we are not controlling in between the source and load. This is called as open loop. So then you'll come back to the closed loop. When we connect between these two source and load, but in control system is a different. There is a difference between open loop and closed loop. There is a difference, but in circuit, generally simple open means there is no connection. Closed means if the wires are connected between the source and load, so such a type of circuits are called as a closed loop circuit. So that is the difference between this open loop and closed loop. So finally, we conclude that every circuit should contain the two elements, source and load. These two should be connected by wires. Next, types of elements. Already I told you, the source is a one type of load is another type of. What is that? I'll clarify here. In electrical engineering, the elements are classified into two types based on the behavior. What are those? Number one is active element, passive element. So I will explain about what is the active element. Generally, these elements which always gives energy to other elements in the circuit is called as an active. So examples of active elements are sources, nothing but voltage and current. And come back to these examples of practical scenario. Our parent is a active element and children are a passive elements. And the source is a active element, load is a passive. Why? Always the active elements will give energy to other elements. Always the parent will give money to other dependent persons in the home. That is about the active element. Then, what is the passive element? The element which always receives energy from the active elements. Some elements may consume the total energy, or some elements may store the energy in the form of electrical field or in the form of. Again, example. Our children are passive elements. Always they receive the money in terms of energy. And some children may consume total money in terms of energy, and some children may store the money in terms of energy in kidney bank. So this is the example, practical example of what is the active elements and passive elements. And examples of the passive elements are resistor, inductor, and capacitor. And examples of the active elements are voltage source. These are the examples. And this session, we will discuss about complete description of resistor, inductor, and capacitor. I hope that you understood that what is the difference between active element and passive element. So start with the resistor. Generally, resistor is a passive element. The nature of the resistor, which opposes the flow of electric current, actually resistor formula is there, R is equal to rho L by A. R, nothing but the resistance. Rho is a specific resistance, L is a length of the conductor, A is a cross-section area. So resistance depends on the two parameters, basically proportional to the length, inversely proportional to the cross-sectional area. Meaning, the small conductor should contain more resistance, and the large length of the conductor should contain the large resistance. The large cross-sectional area of the conductor should contain the less resistance, whereas the small cross-sectional area of the conductor should contain more resistance. That is about this physical property of the resistor. So which opposes flow of current, mean that which does not allow the flow of electrons flow through it immediately, and drops voltage across it. Voltage drop. That's nothing but the V is equal to I into R. Voltage is equal to current to resistance. How much of voltage drop depends on how much of resistance of the parameter. And then we'll come back, which consumes energy and dissipated into heat. So already told you, passive elements may consume or may store the energy. This resistor has the property of consuming nature of the energy, and which is represented with the symbol R, and units are ohm. The resistor works on basic law, Ohm's law, and the equations are also will continue. So this is the representation of the symbol, which is represented with the R. And we remember, resistor is a physical property, or nothing but the resistance is the physical device. Resistor is a physical device whereas R is resistance, the property of the physical device. We remember, resistor and resistance are different. Resistor is a device, resistance is the property. So that is very important to know about the children in the initial stage of engineering students. So that is the difference. Then when we connected this resistor with active element, passive element. When we connect the resistor connected with the active element immediately, which allows the current flow through this resistor and drops voltage across resistor, as well as which does not allow some of the magnitude of the current. What is that magnitude of the current? I is equal to V by R. That much of the current will flow through the resistor. Only I is equal to V by R. That R is nothing but the resistance. And we will come back to this. This resistor will consume the energy I square R. That all these things I'll continue in the next slide. So as per Ohm's law, V is directly proportional to the I at constant temperature, because at constant temperature always how much of current, how much of voltage we are giving to the passive elements, that much of number of electrons, that many number of electrons will flow to the circuit. That is the relation V proportional to I. If it is not constant temperature, it is equal to V is equal to I into R, where when we remove the proportionality and immediately a constant parameter will available, that constant parameter is nothing but R. That constant parameter R is called as resistance. So already told you R is equal to rho L by A. Generally, you know that in intermediate also you understood that what is the formula for this R is equal to rho L by A. That's why I have not discussed here in detail. So therefore, V is equal to I into R, you are obtaining. That is nothing but voltage across resistor. Then how much of power will flow to the resistor? Voltage multiplied by current. Power is available or developed, power developed in case of this resistor. Then what is the energy? Energy, nothing but the W. So power multiplied by time period is nothing but the energy. Therefore, again we know that what is the power? Voltage into current. So multiplied by time period. Also you know that V is equal to I into R. You substitute that I square into R into T. Here, sorry for this. I square into R into T. Or also I is equal to V by R. Therefore, V square by R into T. This much of energy is dissipated in the resistor in form of heat, in form of, already I told you. The resistor works on the principle of Ohm's law as well as which consumes energy and dissipates it into heat. So this is the basic property. So there are three properties are there for resistor, which opposes flow of electric current and drops voltage across it and consumes energy in terms of heat. That magnitude is I square into R into T or V square by R into T. This much consumed or dissipated. So we classify that among the passive elements, the resistor is energy consumed or energy dissipated elements. So here, what is the values of R? What is the value of T? Where R is resistance in ohms, T is power, and I is current, and W is energy. Current in terms of amperes, power in terms of watts or kilowatts, and energy in terms of watt hours or watt seconds or kilowatt hours. So this is about resistor. I hope that you understood that resistor. I'll continue with inductor. What is inductor? Inductor is also a passive element. But inductor is a device that inductor is represented with a letter as a L, and that L is called as the inductance. Before that, so what is the inductor? I'll clarify that. Very simple. You take a conductor and that conductor should be rotated into the foil structure. Foil structure mean in a coil manner, then that conductor become as an inductor. So you want to make as an inductor, you take a copper and you wound into number of foil structures. This is about the FOIL, foil. So if you wound into the different number of turns, then the inductor, the conductor becomes an inductor. This depends on this number of turns. The value of inductance L is increases. So we remember, dear students, there is a difference between inductor and inductance. Inductor is a physical device. It's a device. It's an element. But L is a inductance, is a property of inductor. So we remember here. So here, the inductance L is a property of a conductor or a circuit due to its magnetic field, which tends to oppose sudden change in current flow through it. Why it happened? Whenever you apply this inductor is a passive element to the active element of source, voltage source, immediately the current starts flow from positive terminal of the battery to the negative battery, continue the current flow. Whenever the current flow through the coil, already arrested in 1826 explained, whenever a current flow through any conductor, magnetic flux are produced surrounded by that conductor in a revolving structure. Therefore, here the magnetic flux are produced in this inductor, but this magnetic flux are linked with a different number of turns. Therefore, the inductance is developed. So, because of this magnetic flux, which does not allow sudden change in current flow through it, but which allows the steady state current flow through it, that is the basic property of the inductor. Again, I will clarify. Which does not allow the sudden change in current flow through it because of magnetic property or magnetic field developed in case of this number of turns of inductive coil. So that is the point. So this inductor is represented with the letter as a L, is also called as the inductance, and units of inductance is Henry. So this is the basic property of inductor. And also this inductor will store the energy in the form of magnetic field. How? What is that value? What is that energy stored in the inductor? I'll clarify in the continuation of this session. So before that, go through this. What is the magnitude of how much energy stored in the inductor? So first, we will clarify. Whenever we give this excitation, the current flow to this magnetic inductive coil in terms of the magnetic flux. That magnetic flux depends on current. The magnetic flux depends on the current. So, how many number of flux is directly proportional to the current? If the current is 1 ampere, for example, 10 flux are produced. Current is 2 ampere, 20 flux are produced. Current is 100 amperes multiplied by 10,000 number of flux are produced. That is the nature of the relation between flux and current. Then when we remove this proportionality, we make as equality, then constant should be involved, constant should be appeared. That constant L is called as inductance of this inductor. Then as per Faraday's law, you know that whenever a conductor touches the magnet, there are two laws are there. The first law, whenever a conductor touches the magnetic flux, an EMF will be produced in that conductor. The second law, the induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of flux linkages. As per Faraday's law, E is equal to D. E is nothing but the induced EMF developed across the inductor. Therefore, we know that pi L into I. We substitute that. We are getting this equation as L into di by dt. Next, we want to calculate, for example, I. Very simple. We'll move into this here, E into dt, 1 by L and di. We apply this, remove the differentiation, apply the integration. Therefore, finally, we'll get the equation as current I is equal to 1 by L integral of E dt. So this is the two parameters of inductor. What is the magnitude of induced EMF and what is the current flow through the inductor? These are the two. Then we need power. What is the power? Everyone knows that power is equal to voltage multiplied by current. then we need energy. W is equal to power into T, or also we take as a integral of P into dt is equal to V into T. Now we substitute that in the place of P, so V into I. Again we know that in the place of V or E are both same. V and E are both same. Therefore, V is in terms of E is equal to L into di by dt. Then we substitute this here, we are getting W energy is equal to L into integral of I into di by dt into dt gets cancelled. Therefore, L into integral of I into di I square by 2. Therefore, energy should be equal to half Li square. So this much of energy stored in the inductor. So we remember, students, what is the magnitude of energy in the inductor? Stored. It is stored. But what is the form of that stored energy? In the form of magnetic field. Why? In case of this inductor, whenever we give the supply or excitation, immediately the magnetic flux are produced in the inductive coil. So the energy stored in the inductive coil is also in the form of magnetic field. What is the value of Li? So therefore, if you want to increase this energy stored in the inductor, you want to increase the value of inductance. So when we design this inductor, we cannot change this inductor generally in the fixed coil. So we cannot change this inductor. So what parameter we want to change? We want to change this current. We want to change this current, we want to change the voltage. When we change the excitation, the current will changes. The energy stored in inductor is also changes. So W is proportional to I square. So always the magnitude of the current increases, flow through the inductive coil. The energy stored in the inductor is also increases. So this point we remember. So finally we conclude that, so what is the basic property of the inductor? Inductor is a passive element which does not allow sudden change in current flow through it, which allows the flow of current due to the magnetic field developed in case of this inductive coil. And the final property is which stores the energy in terms of magnetic field. That value is half Li square, and the energy should be increased by increasing value of inductance or increased value of so here where L is inductance, units are henries, P is power, units are watts or kilowatts, I is current, amperes, W is energy, kilowatt hours, units are kilowatt hours. P is induced EMF across the coil of inductor in terms of units are volts. So that is about inductor. Now we will continue with the next, the last element is the capacitor. What is a capacitor? Basically, capacitor is a passive element, but how to made as a capacitor? Already I explained how to made as an inductor. A conductor wound into coil structure, it becomes an inductor. Similar way, how can you make as a capacitor? By taking as a you take that conductor and cut it into the two equal length of the plates, and you connect these two plates, and in between these two plates pull the dielectric media or place the dielectric media, then it becomes as a capacitor. You close the top and bottom of your two conductors, then it becomes as a capacitor. That is about the capacitor. So we remember, again I will clarify, take a two equal length of the conductor and connect, and between these two equal length of the conductor place the electric media and close the top and bottom, then automatically that element becomes as a capacitor. So now we'll continue, which contains two equal conducting plates, and in between them dielectric material is placed. Already told you. The property of capacitor is to store charge on its plates in the form of electric field, and also does not allow sudden change in voltage across it. What is the meaning of this? Here, these two plates are formed as a one side as a positive, another side as a negative. So this positive and negative between that, these two plates, energy is stored. How much I will explain in the coming slide with the help of algebraical equations. So this is about energy, how it will be stored. Again, because of this charge of this developed across this between these two plates, which does not allow, due to the charge developed across these two plates, which does not allow sudden change in voltage, also called as a potential difference. Voltage is called as a potential difference. Does not allow sudden change, but which allows the steady state. And this capacitor is represented with the letter as a C. We remember the C is called as a capacitance. Units are farad. So again, I told you, in case of in earlier resistor, resistance, inductor, inductance. Similarly, capacitor and capacitance. Capacitor is an element. Capacitance is the property. This capacitor. So how much of this capacitance? C is equal to epsilon naught A by D. That value already you learned in the earlier case. C is equal to epsilon naught A by D. L is equal to N pi by I. So those are the formulas. R is equal to V by I. So like this, R is equal to rho L by A, physical property of this product. Then we connect this capacitor is a passive element which connected to the active element of the voltage source. Immediately the current starts to flow. Because of that, charges are developed between these two plates, and energy is stored in between these two plates in the form of electric field that I will explain. So we remember, already I told you, whenever we give the excitation, immediately charge is developed between these two plates. How much? Which depends on how much of voltage you are applying. So charge is directly proportional to the voltage, Q is proportional to the V. Now we replace this proportionality, we place as the equal. So when Q is equal to C into V, so where C is the constant parameter, that C is called as the capacitance, the property of the capacitor. Then everyone knows that what is the current? Flow of electron, rate of change of flow of electrons in the charge. Therefore, I is equal to dq by dt. So that is the current. So now Q is equal to C into V. We substitute. Therefore, I is equal to C into dV by dt. So this is what is the current in case of the capacitor. This is the value of the current in terms of amperes. Then we need what is the value of V. So again the same. dt is transferred to this side, 1 by C, and dV is equal to 1 by C into I into dt. But we remove this differentiation by applying integration. Therefore, finally we will get the equation V is equal to 1 by C integral of I dt. So what is the voltage? Across the capacitor, Vc is equal to 1 by C integral of I dt. So then power equal to voltage into. Then we need the energy. Energy is equal to power into time period. And we want to replace this power into time as a mathematical differential integral equation. And P is equal to V into I. Again, I is equal to C into dV by dt. We substitute these parameters. So finally we'll get W is equal to C into integral of V into dV by dt. Dt gets cancelled. So C into integral of V into dV is equal to, therefore, integral of V into dV is nothing but V square by 2. Integral of x into dx, everyone knows that x is square by 2. Similar way, integral of V into dV, V square by 2. Therefore, C is there. So 1 by 2 into C is square. So this much of energy stored in the inductor between the two plates as in terms of electric field, why we call in terms of the charge. So the charge particles is nothing but an electrical form in nature. There where C is capacitance in farads, P is power in terms of I is current in terms of W is energy stored in inductor in the form of electrical field. So therefore, we remember we want to increase that energy stored in the capacitor by increasing the capacitance value or by increasing voltage. This is voltage excitation. This is not this voltage applied by this active element as a source. So therefore, W is proportional to V square. Why? Because capacitance is fixed while we design this capacitor, we take as a capacitor. So the variable parameter is voltage. So always the energy stored in the capacitor is directly proportional to the V square. If you increase the voltage, automatically the energy stored in the capacitor will increase. So this is about in-depth. Thank you. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.